analysis technique. I'll discuss that. It's a complicated one. It's a little bit complicated topic. So I'll discuss state variable modeling and analysis technique first. And after that, we will be left with one single chapter, which is chapter 4. And chapter 4 is on uh, block diagram, algebra, and signal flow graph. So যদি কোনো কারণে ডেট না পাওয়া যায় সেক্ষেত্রে আমি ভিডিও রেকর্ডিংস পাঠিয়ে দেবো। তোমাদের যদি কোনো ডাউট থাকে, ডাউট ক্লারিফিকেশনের জন্য ক্লাস করা যেতে পারে একটা। It's a complete comparatively easier one, easier concept. So that's why today we'll start discussing uh, module 5 or chapter 5. তোমরা স্টেট ভেরিয়েবল মডেলিং টেকনিক সেকেন্ড ইয়ারে পড়েছো তাই তো? বেসিক্স অফ স্টেট ভেরিয়েবল মডেলিং টেকনিক, yes or no? Using
Yes, ma'am.
physical variables, right? Like you have modeled say a servo motor for a speed control system, servo motor speed control system, using state variables like angular position or speed. In case of speed control, the state variables were could maybe positions, angular velocity, like that. Okay. In case of position control, if the system is a third order system, then we could select state variables which are physical variables. Just a moment. We could select state variables which are physical variables of the system, and those could be the angular position, angular speed, and armature control, armature current, etc. So you have learned how to obtain a state model of a system. How to obtain a state model of a system using physical variables. That means the variables
Ma'am,
are
are you
physical
sharing?
quantities. No, I have not yet started sharing. আচ্ছা রেকর্ডিংটা হচ্ছে কিনা দেখো তো, তোমরা কি দেখতে
Yes,
পাও?
ma'am.
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম,
Yes,
হচ্ছে।
ma'am.
রেকর্ডিং হচ্ছে। So what is the definition of a state variables? Can you recall? Formal definition is not required. Can you recall what is the
The
definition of
variables which define the state of a system.
state of a system? It's hard to understand, difficult to understand. Okay, tell me one thing. It's a simple question. For an nth order system, how many state variables should be selected for modeling purpose? Okay, for a third order system, how many state variables will have to select, will have to choose, will have to consider?
3.
3. So for a generic nth order system, how many state variables should be considered?
N.
N. Right. So what is the definition of state variables? The state variables are the set of variables of a dynamical system. And the set is basically a minimal set of variables, okay, such that the knowledge of all these variables at time t equal to t0, that means at the initial time, at time t is equal to t0, together with the knowledge of the inputs for all time t greater than equal to t0. For all time t greater than equal to t0 will determine the behavior, the complete dynamic behavior of the system for time t greater than t0. That means if we know, if we do have the information about those variables which we call state variables at time t equal to t0, only at the initial time, along with the input should be known for all time t greater than equal to t0, right? So with this information we can describe the dynamic behavior of a system, of a dynamic system. Completely we can describe the dynamic behavior of the system. Minimal set of variables. So for nth order system, n number of, that is the minimal number of variables. N number of variables should be chosen as state variables, right? And apart from a few variables, other state variables are generally internal variables. Like, let us consider the example of the position control of a servo motor. In that case, since it's a position control system, hence the output position, that is the output variable. That is the output variable, right? Now, other two state variables, that is uh, angular velocity along with the armature current. These are internal variables of the system. Clear? So when we'll discuss state space modeling technique, that means we'll have to consider three sets of variables. The first set is the set of input variables. The second set is the set of output variables. And the third set is the set of state variables. Okay. So please brush up your knowledge on state variable modeling technique. And state space modeling technique, already we know how to model a dynamic system. Okay, so we can go for mathematical models like different integral differential equations, and for linear system we can go for transfer function kind of modeling. And already I guess we have discussed in this class that a model of a system is basically a representation of the system, right? So transfer function and differential equations. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the material being shared?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
It is
So
visible.
transfer function, differential equations, these are mathematical models of the system, right? Block diagram representation, that is a graphical model of a system, graphical representation. And we'll learn signal flow graph, that is also a graphical, and we'll find that that is also a graphical representation of a system, of a linear time invariant system. And these models, graphical models like block diagram or signal flow graph, uh, are known as, these models are known as topological models, right? And state variable models of a system, that is also a mathematical model, and it's a time domain based modeling and analysis technique. And it has the state variable modeling analysis techniques or state space technique in general has got its own advantages, right? We can obtain state models for different kind of system, for linear, non-linear, time varying, time invariant, okay, continuous, discrete. So state model, like for non-linear system we cannot obtain um, transfer function. So transfer function modeling technique is not valid for typical nonlinear systems. And if the initial conditions are not zero, then also we cannot obtain transfer function. So these limitations are not there if you go for state variable modeling techniques. So that's why it has got its a wide application. So state space representation or modeling using physical variables that we have already studied. So we'll start a little bit abruptly from state space modeling technique using phase variables. Using phase variables, right? Now, in this course, you know that we are considering um, linear system, linear time invariant system. Okay, so just try to recall, you can write down the general way in which a linear system is represented in the state space is denoted as x dot, capital X dot, is equal to a x plus bu. Have you written this equation? Have you written this equation? Okay, let me. Yes, this is the equation. Can you see this? Please
Yes,
respond.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
X dot is equal to a x plus bu. So what is the nature of this equation? This is a first order differential equation, right? In this case, you see this x for nth order system, this will be this x dot, this will be a column vector, and the elements of the column vector will be x1 dot, then x2 dot, then x3 dot, 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 xn dot. Can you recall?
Yes, ma'am.
So x is the set of state variables. So this is also a column vector, n by 1 vector. In, that is x1, x2, x3, dot, 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 xn. Right? And this A is called the system matrix. And for nth order system, the dimension of the system matrix will be n by n. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And the second component is bu. So this u is the input vector. So if we assume that m number of inputs are there, then again u will be a column vector, u1, u2, u3, um, right? And this b is called input matrix. So for nth order system having n number of state variables and m number of input variables, the dimension of this input matrix B will be n by m. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So that means we are getting n number of first order differential equations, like x1 dot is equal to a x plus bu, x2 dot is equal to a x plus bu, x3 dot is equal to ax plus bu, so on and so forth. So for nth order system, will get in such first order differential equation, and in composite form we can write the all those equation in a composite form as x dot is equal to ax plus bu. and this is known as the state equation. Now, along with state equation in the state model of the system, we do have a second equation which is called output equation. The output equation y, here we have considered one single output, so that is not the generic form. You can write a capital y is equal to cx plus du. So the output equation you see is not a differential equation. So the output equation is a static equation. So if you assume that p number of output is being generated by the system, p number of outputs, we know the dimension of this column vector, that is n by 1, right? So the output equation for linear time invariant system is given by, or in general, the output equation is given by capital Y is equal to Cx plus capital Du, where again U is the input vector. So if p number of outputs are being generated by the system, then the dimension of the C matrix, which is known as output matrix, will be p by n, as this column vector has a dimension which is n by 1. And the second component is plus du. U is the input vector having a dimension m by 1. So capital D, that particular matrix will have a dimension of p by m. And the D matrix is called the transmission matrix, as the D matrix, the matrix D, directly connects the input to the output. That's why it's called the transmission matrix. Please check the dimensions. Right? Okay. Should I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
So in case of linear time invariant system, the elements of this A, B matrix, of all this matrix, will be constant. And in case of linear system, the state equation, remember state equation is a dynamic equation, it's a first order differential equation. The state equations can be written as the first one, x1 dot is equal to, so since linear system, so x1 dot will be linear combinations of all the state variables and the input variables. And just try to recall, x1 dot can be written as x1 dot equal to small a 1 1 x1 plus a 1 2 x2 plus a 1 3 x3 dot plus a 1 n xn plus b11 u1, so on and so forth. Can you recall?
Yes, ma'am.
So similarly, the output equation can be written as y1 is equal to c11 x1 c12 x2 d11 u1 d12 u2, like that. Please go through the chapter that we have started in second year. Now, we'll see that the state model of a given system the system is fixed, right? But the state model of a given system is not unique, right? So the state model of a system will depend on the state variables that we are choosing, we are selecting. So state models can be derived using physical variables like position of the shaft, angular velocity, armature current. All these are physical quantities. That is one way that you have learned. Also, state model. Our first task is to obtain the model of a given system. So state model of a given system can be obtained using phase variables. So what are these phase variables? Phase variables are a particular type of state variables that we'll discuss. So for a given system, we can use physical variables for obtaining the state model, or we can use phase variables for obtaining the state model, right? And accordingly, the state model of the given system will vary. So state space representation of a system using phase variables. Now, let us assume that the differential equation describing the dynamics of the system is given. And for a generic nth order system, let us assume that this is the differential equation which is describing the dynamic behavior of the system. Here y to the power within bracket n, that is basically dny dtn. Okay, so dny dtn, so dny dtn plus a1 dn minus 1 y by dt n minus 1 plus dot a n minus 1 dy dt plus a n is equal to b0 u to the power m. Again, u to the power m is basically dmu by dtm plus dot bm minus 1 du dt plus bmu. Okay. So that means the dynamic behavior of the system is also dependent on the higher derivatives of the input. So this is the differential equation describing the complete dynamics of the system. So phase, if we go for phase variable modeling technique, then we'll find that if the differential equation governing the system behavior is known or the transfer function is known, then simply by inspecting the differential equation or the transfer function of the system, directly we can write down the state model of the system. Very easy to derive a state model. So that is the advantage of using phase variables. So if we represent the differential equation in this form, then you see, if we transform this equation, if we take Laplace transform, then we can obtain from this differential equation, simply by inspecting the differential equation, we can obtain the transfer function. The transfer function Ts of the system will be y is the output and u is the input, right? So ys by us. So in the left hand side, you see, if we take Laplace transform, then this first term will be s to the power n y within bracket s. Can you follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? The second term a1 s to the power n minus 1 y is. Here a1, a2, an minus 1, these are the coefficients of the, all these are the coefficients of the differential equation. So from this differential equation, please check whether we can obtain the transfer function in this form or not. From equation 1, can we derive equation 2?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. And if m is equal to n, that means if the number of closed loop poles is equal to the number of closed loop zeros, then the transfer function will have a form which is equal to b0 s to the power n plus b1 s to the power n minus 1. Just we'll have to replace this m by n. So this will be the transfer function. Now let's try to understand what is meant by phase variables. What is the definition of phase variable? The phase variables are defined. The phase variables are defined as those particular state variables which are obtained from one of the system variables, and the rest of the state variables will be the higher derivatives of this system variable, right? So repeat, the first state variable will be one of the system variables, right? And the rest, for nth order system, the first state variable will be one particular system variable, and the rest n minus 1 number of state variables will be simply the higher derivatives of the first state variable, right? And it's a common practice that the first state variable or the first variable, phase variable, is assumed to be the output variable of the system, right? So let's go through the definition again. The phase variables are defined as those particular state variables which are obtained from one of the system variables and its derivatives, higher derivatives. Often the variable used, or the first variable used, is the system output, and the remaining state variables are then derivatives of the output. So this is our transfer function. Now first we assume that our system doesn't have any closed loop, 0, right? So the transfer function will be given by b by, will have a denominator polynomial which is expressed as s to the power n plus a1 s to the power n minus 1 plus dot 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 a n minus 1 s plus a n. And obviously a1, a2, an minus 1, n, all these are the coefficients of the corresponding differential equation. So if there is no 0 in the system, closed loop 0 in the system, then the corresponding transfer function, corresponding differential equation, we can obtain the differential equation if the transfer function is given, and the differential equation will be dny dtn plus a1 dn minus 1y dt n minus 1 plus dot 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 a n minus 1 dy dt plus a n y into bu is it sorry is equal to bu is equal to bu. So this is the transfer function if this is the differential equation if you don't have any closed loop 0. Okay. So the first state variable, as we have discussed, let's assume that the first state variable is our output variable y. This is a SISO system. One single output is there. So the first state variable x1 is equal to y, right? Then the rest of the state variables, the rest n minus 1 number of state variables, will be higher derivatives of y. So x2, the second state variable, is equal to, will be equal to y dot. X3 will be equal to y double dot, right? And if we progress like this, we'll find that xn, the last state variable, the nth state variable, will be dn minus 1 y by dtn. So if we select this to be the state variables or this to be the state variables, then we say that we are using phase variables. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
इक्वेशन 6 तक तो लिखे रखो.
Ma'am, done.
So x1 is equal to y. From this you see x1 is equal to y, x2 is equal to y dot. That means x1 dot is equal to x2. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, x2 dot will be x3.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we can start writing down the n number of first order differential equations which will yield the state equation of the system, and the n number of first order differential equations are x1 dot is equal to x2, x2 dot is equal to x3. Similarly, from this we'll get this differential equation, that is x n minus 1 dot will be equal to xn. So if we consider these equations up to this, okay, so that means we are getting n minus 1 number of first order differential equations. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
And what about the nth equation? Xn dot. So how to get this xn dot? Let's get back to our differential equation. d n y dtn is basically our xn dot, isn't it? From this. So this term is nothing but xn dot. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
So xn dot is equal to, after side transposition, is equal to minus any minus an minus y dot minus dot 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 minus a1 yn minus 1 plus bu. So now in place of y we can write x1, in place of y dot we can write x2, and we can proceed in this particular manner. And you see y n minus 1, what is that? Nothing but xn. So in this way we get our nth first order differential equation, which is given by xn dot is equal to minus an x1 minus an minus 1 x2 minus an minus 2 x3 dot 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 minus a1 xn plus this term bu. Have you understood how we have derived n number of first order differential equations?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it absolutely clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have derived n number of first order differential equations. That means now we can write down the state equation for the system. In the left hand side we'll have a column vector and the elements are x1 dot, x2 dot, xn minus 1 dot, xn dot, right? This is our system matrix. This is going to be our system matrix. Okay. And this is the column vector. This is A and this is X. So the elements of this column vector are x1, x2, xn minus 1, xn. I'll come to this later on. So now let us first try to find out the elements of the system matrix A. So x1 dot is equal to 0 into x1 plus 1 into x2 plus 0 into x3 and so on and so forth. Understood? Should I repeat?
Understood.
Okay, so the elements will be 0, 0 into x1. Next element, the second element of the first row will be 1, 1 into x2, and the rest of the elements of the first row will be simply 0. Similarly, if we look at the second row will be 0 into, you see, this is the equation. So 0 into x1 plus 0 into x2 plus 1 into x3 plus 0 into x4, so on and so forth. So 0, 0, the third element will be 1, and all the rest of the elements will be 0. So in this way, we can proceed. The plus but one row will have all 0 terms, but the last one, the last element of this row will be 1, because here xn minus 1 dot, look at this equation, xn minus 1 dot is equal to 1 into xn. And the last row, the elements of the last row are simply the coefficients of the differential equations. So x1, x2, xn minus 1, xn. Here you see, so the coefficients are minus an, look at this, minus an minus 1, minus an minus 2, minus a1, right? And the last term is plus bu. So if we want to represent this in vector matrix form, then we'll have to define the input matrix B. So this is our input matrix B, since we are discussing seesaw system, single input, single output system. So all these terms will be 0, excepting the last term, which is B, and this is our input variable. So this is the state equation. So you see how easily we can obtain the state equation for even for a generic nth order system, for a higher order system, right? And also look at this state equation. It's clear that if you know the differential equation, that means you know all this coefficients a1 to an as well as b. So just looking at the differential equation, you can write down the state equation of the system. Or in other words, I can say that if the different transfer function of the system is given, then also simply inspecting the transfer function, that was our transfer function, right? So inspecting the transfer function of the system, we can very easily write down the state equation of the system. But if you want to obtain a state model, say of a third order system, like position control of a servo, then you'll have to obtain this differential equations using first principles, isn't it? We'll have to write down the armature equation, etc., the torque equation. Can you follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
So the process is a bit tedious. And also you'll have to know, you'll have to have the complete understanding of the system so that you can write down those differential equations representing the dynamic behavior of the system. But here you see, if we go for phase variable kind of state representations, state space representation, then simply mechanically by inspection only we can write down the state equation of the system. What about the output equation? Because state model consists of two equations. One is the state equation, which is a dynamic equation, and the second one is the output equation, which is a static equation. And the output equation is y is equal to cx plus du. In this case, what is going to be our output equation? Our output equation is very simple. You see, this is our output equation. So y is equal to x1. So y is equal to x1 is our output equation, and we can write y is equal to cx, where c is the output matrix, x will be in vector matrix notation, x is a column vector, and the elements are x1, x2, x3, xn, etc. So the output matrix C matrix will be simply a row vector, and the first element will be 1 because C is equal to 1 into x1, right? And the rest of the elements of this row vector will be 0. Clear?
Clear.
Yes, ma'am.
So in a composite form, this can be written as x dot is equal to ax plus bu, where this is the system matrix A and this is our input matrix B. And please look at this system matrix A. The system matrix has got a very spatial form, right? This is the diagonal of this matrix. So the diagonal elements up are 0, right? Excepting this one. So we'll treat the last row separately. So if we look at this n minus 1th, all these rows, this n minus 1 number of rows, you see all the upper of diagonal. This is diagonal. These are the upper of diagonal elements. So all the upper of diagonal elements are 1, 1, 1. This one is 1, right? And the other elements are 0, simply 0. So the matrix has all ones in the upper of diagonal. And what is the specialty about the last row? Last row consists of the negatives of the coefficients of the original differential equations. Minus an minus 1 minus n minus 2 dot 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 minus a1, right? So this form of the system matrix A is known as Bush form or companion form. So if our system matrix is of this particular form, then we say that the system matrix A is expressed in Bush form or companion form. Also, B matrix, that means the input matrix. Look at this input matrix. All the elements are 0 excepting the last element, which is B. And the output matrix, already we have seen the output matrix. The first element is 1. The first element of C matrix, it's a row vector, is 1, and the rest of the elements are 0, right? And transmission matrix is absent in this particular form. So already we have discussed this point. It follows from the above that for the transfer functions with poles only, the derivation of the state model through the differential equation is quite straightforward, very easy. Now the problem is when a system does have some closed loop zeros, closed loop zeros, then um, expressing the system using phase variables is a bit difficult, but compared to the state models obtained using physical variables, if you go for phase variable kind of modeling technique, you'll find that the second one will consume less time and pretty easier. So now let us consider the transfer function Ts, closed loop transfer function Ts, to contain some zeros, right? So let us first discuss this particular example, then we'll try to generalize the state model that will obtain for this particular system. So since the system does have some zeros, so we are assuming that the numerator polynomial is of the order of 3 and the order of the system is also 3. So the transfer function Ts is equal to b0 s cube plus b1 s square plus b2s plus b3 whole divided by s cube plus a1 s square plus a2s plus a3, right? Third order system, that means we'll have to choose 3 state variables. Now this GS, it is actually typo, it should be TS. Actually we are considering the closed loop transfer function of the system. So in place of GS we should write TS. So TS, already we have seen YS output by input. So YS in the transform domain. So YS by US. Now let's express this ys by us as x1 is by us into ys by x1 is. We can express this in this form. Can we?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is our transfer function. Now let us assume that x1 by us, this one, this part, x1 is by us is equal to 1 by s cube plus a1 s square plus a2s plus a3, and ys by x1 is, in that case, will be the numerator polynomial, which is b0 s cube plus b1 s square plus b2s plus b3, right? So this is the transfer function, closed loop transfer function of the system, and we can express or break this block diagram into two cascaded blocks. The first one having the input u, and the transfer function of the first block is 1 by s cube plus a1 s square plus a2s plus a3, and the output, obviously you see we have chosen the first one to be x1 by us. So the output from the first block will be x1, and that is the input. Let us consider this one. So that is the input to the second block, and finally the output of the second block is the output of the system. So that is y. So is the diagram clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear, ma'am.
Okay. So using the first block, you see this is the output, this is the input. Now very easily the method that we have learned, In the first block, there is no 0. So the method that we have learned, we can write down the state equation. So 3 state variables will be there, or phase variables, to be precise, phase variables. The phase variables are x1, x2, and x3. So the left hand side of the state equation will be the column vector x1 dot, x2 dot, x3 dot, right? The system matrix will obviously be in bush form or companion form. So the first element of the first row will be 0, the second one is 1, the third one is again 0. x1 dot is equal to x2, x2 dot is equal to x3, so 0, 0, 1, and x3 dot, for that we'll have to use the coefficients of the denominator polynomial, this polynomial. So the elements of the third row will be minus a3, minus a2. We are moving in this direction. Please note, we are moving in this direction. So minus a3, minus a2, minus a1, plus input matrix. The elements will be 0, 0, and the last element will be, here the value of b is equal to 1. So the last element will be 1 into u. So this is our state equation. Or we can consider this to be a valid state equation of the given system, where we have used phase variables. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Now here you see y is being connected to x1, which is our state variables or phase variables, with the help of this particular block. Hence, this block will determine the output equation. So the output equation, just a moment. Yes. The output equation y will be equal to b0 s cube into x1, the first term. Do you agree? Y will be equal to, the first term will be b0 s cube into x1.
Yes,
Yes or no?
ma'am.
Okay. So that means x cube into x1 means we are taking 3 derivatives. So y will be, it's incorrectly written, right? So please note it down. Y is equal to b0 x1 dot 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 triple dot, because of this x cube. Plus the second term is b1 s square x1. That means b1 x1 double dot. The third term is plus b2 s x1. That means x1 dot. And the third term is b3 x1. Clear? So our output equation is y is equal to, please note down this equation in the correct form. Y is equal to b0 x1 triple dot plus b1 into x1 double dot plus b2 into x1 dot plus b3 into x1. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now what is our x1 triple dot? X1 triple dot, x1 dot, that means x2 dot is equal to x1 double dot, and x3 dot is equal to x1 triple dot. Do you agree?
Can you please repeat?
X2 dot, x1 dot is equal to x2. Write it down. Write it down. x1 dot is equal to x2.
Yes, ma'am.
x1 dot is equal to x2. That means x1 double dot is equal to x2 dot.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, you see x2 dot is equal to x3. That means x1
X1 triple dot equals to X3.
x3. Again, write the equations, state equations up to x3 dot. x1 dot is equal to x2. Okay, if I go in this way, in the reverse order, I guess it will be easier for you to understand. So this is my output equation, y is equal to b0 x1 triple dot plus b1 x1 double dot plus b2 x1 dot plus b3 x1, right? So b3 x1, this particular term contains the state variable x1, right? So we'll not disturb this term. Understood? What is our objective? Our objective is we cannot express the output equation in this form, x1 triple dot, x1 double dot, right? We'll have to express the output equation in terms of the state variables. That means x1, x2, x3, isn't it? So that is our objective. You get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
So in this equation, you see the last term is b3x1, so it contains x1. So we'll not disturb this one. The next term is b2x1 dot. So now we'll try to substitute x1 dot, and we'll try to substitute x1 dot with the help of the state variables x1, x2, x3. So how to substitute x1 dot? You see, we do have this equation, x1 dot is equal to x2. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So this b2x1 dot can be written as b2x2, as x1 dot is equal to x2.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the next term is b1 x1 double dot. So what is x1 double dot?
X3.
No, in this equation, x1 double dot, if I try to read the complete equation,
Ma'am, X1 dot equals to X2 and X2 dot equals to X3. So
yes,
X3 will be X1 double dot.
x1 double dot will be x3, right? So this term can be now written as b1 into x3,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Now we are left with this term, b0 x1 triple dot. So what is x1 triple dot?
X3 dot.
x3 dot, right? x3 dot. So in place of x1 triple dot, now we'll substitute b0 minus a3 into x1 minus a2 into x2 minus a1 into x3 plus u. This is our equation which we are getting from this last row. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we'll try to collect the common terms. So if you do so, the first one is x1, the first state variable is x1. So here we are getting one x1 term and the coefficient is minus b0 a3. And also we are getting one x1 term here and the coefficient is b3, right? So we can write this equation can be written as b3 minus a3 b0 into x1.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is x2. So here is b2 and x2 we are getting again a term which is a coefficient which is minus a2 b0. So x2 the coefficient will be b2 minus a2 b0.
Yes, ma'am.
And the third one will be b1 minus a1 b0 into x3. Again you see there is a pattern. Obviously there will be a last term which is b0 into u plus b0 u. So there is a pattern. The coefficient of the first state variable or first phase variable x1 is b3 minus a3 b0. The coefficient of the second phase variable x2 is b2 minus a2 b0. And the coefficient of the third state variable x3 is b1 minus a1 b0. And the fourth term is b0 plus u. Can you identify the pattern?
Yes, ma'am.
So now we have derived the state model because this is our state equation and this is our output equation. So the state model of a third order system. So now we can generalize this one, and for a general nth order system we can write down the state model in this way. So the state equation is x1 dot x2 dot xn minus 1 dot xn dot. The system matrix A will be in companion form or bush form since we are using phase variables. So the elements of the first row will be 0, 1 and the rest of the terms will be 0. The elements of the second row will be 0, 0, 1. All the off diagonal terms will be 1. Rest of the terms for n minus 1 number of rows will be 0. And the last row will contain the coefficients of the differential equation or the transfer function or coefficients of the denominator polynomial of the transfer function, which are minus n minus 1 minus n minus 2 minus a1. These are our phase variables, right? And the M matrix will contain all 0 terms excepting the last one, and the last element of the B matrix or the input matrix will be 1 into U. And the output equation Y, again, please write down the equation in a correct form. Output equation Y will be for nth order system Bn minus An minus B0. Just a moment. In place of 3 now, 3 will become n. So this 3 will become n, right? So the output
Ma'am, there should be no comma, no? That is bn
না না
minus.
আরো গন্ডগোল আছে আমি বলে দিচ্ছি bn minus
Minus
commas should be should not be there. Bn minus an b0, that is the first term. Second term is bn minus 1 into an minus 1, sorry, bn minus 1 minus one minus sign will come over here into a n minus 1 b0. Can you follow this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this one is correct. b2 minus a2 b0. Again, there's a problem with this term. This one will be b1 minus a1 b0. And the last term is b0u. That's it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what is the disadvantage? Advantage of phase variable using phase variables that we have discussed. Very easily we can obtain the state model, right? And disadvantages, several disadvantages there. The first problem is phase variables. Most of the phase variables are not physical variables, right? So, like for speed control system, say, if we assume that the output variable is speed of the shaft, then if you take that is x1. So if you take the first derivative, output speed, then uh, output acceleration exactly, okay, fine. Uh, that can even be considered as a physical variable. And the next derivative, x3, you won't be able to, x3 is not at all a physical variable, right? So in most of the cases, we'll find that apart from a few phase variables, the other phase variables are not physical variables like uh, position, angular speed, or armature current, like that, right? And if the state variables or phase variables are not physical variables, then will not get error, so that those variables can be measured, with the help of which, or the measurement of the uh, variables will be impossible, right? And will not be even able to convert those variables, if required, into a suitable form, for which will be requiring transducer. And for measuring purpose, we need sensors, and if the phase variables are not physical variables, sensors will not be available, right? So, in while we try to control a system, you having state variables, then often it is required to control the state variables along with the output variable. Like in industrial control of DC machines, will have to limit the armature current. Armature current cannot be allowed to exceed a particular limit, right? So for that, the armature current has to be measured and has to be fed back. Do you get my point? Just like the output speed. Unless we go for closed loop configuration, it will not be possible for us to control that particular variable or physical quantity. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Am I clear? So often state feedback is required for controlling. We use this term state feedback. State feedback is required for control purpose of those internal variables along with the output variable, right? But if the variables are not physical variables, sensors will not be available, transducers will not be available. Hence, the variables cannot be used for feedback purpose, and that's why the this particular model cannot be used for controller design of the system. Will not be able to use this particular state model for control purpose, real time control purpose. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is the major disadvantage. And so already we have seen that if TS, this is the closed loop transfer function, TS has no zeros, the phase variables are given by its output and derivative of output, higher derivative of output. Unfortunately, it becomes difficult to take second or higher derivatives of the output. And if TS has zeros, then the phase variables bear little resemblance to real physical quantities. Because if the system does have uh, closed loop zeros, then along with the higher derivatives of the output variable, will have to take higher derivatives of the input variable, input signal. Isn't it? So controller design will be really, really tough. But this model is very useful for analysis purpose, for rough analysis purpose, as we can obtain the state model very easily if the transfer function of the system or the differential equation of the system is given. And also, this particular model actually bridges or connects the transfer function of the system to the differential equation describing the dynamic behavior of the system. So this point, though phase variables are simple to realize mathematically, they are not practical set of state variables from measurement and control point of view. Now we have said that if we represent the if we represent the state model of a system using phase variables, then the first advantage is very easily we can obtain the state model. It actually connects the differential equation to the transfer function of the system, as well as just now I've claimed that yes, we can go for first analysis using this type of state model. But we'll find that there is another type of state model which are really very, very useful for analysis purpose. So that is a third kind of state space representation. Now we'll learn how to obtain a state space results in a system matrix, which is a diagonal one, right? And what is the advantage gained if we get a system matrix which is diagonal in nature? That we'll see. So let's again start with this equation for an nth order system. This is the closed loop transfer function Ts, which is given by this denominator polynomial and ratio of this denominator polynomial to this numerator polynomial to this denominator polynomial, right? So if we divide the numerator polynomial by denominator polynomial, as here we see that the order of both the polynomials are same, then this ys by us or ts can be written as, the first term obviously will be this one, b0, isn't it? If we divide this ns by ds, do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we are assuming that the denominator polynomial is known in factored form. Factored form like s minus lambda 1 into s minus lambda 2 into s minus lambda 3, so on and so forth. So if the denominator polynomial is expressed in the product form, not in the polynomial form, but in a product form like s minus lambda 1, s minus lambda 2, so on and so forth, then we can say that lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n number of products will be there. So lambda n, all these are the closed loop poles of the system. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Closed loop poles of the system or roots of the characteristic equation. Fine. So after dividing the numerator polynomial by the denominator polynomial, we'll get this term b0 and another um polynomial or another form of n1 is by ds, right? And if we express or if we expand the second term in using partial fraction method, then the second term can be, if we also, if we assume that all these lambda values are distinct, all these lambda values are real and distinct, then the rest of the terms could be written as b0 plus c1 divided by s minus lambda 1 plus c2 divided by s minus lambda 2 plus c3 divided by s minus lambda 3 plus dot 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 cn divided by s minus lambda n. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
If you want, you can write down this expanded version of this equation, equation 17. That is b0 plus c1 by s minus lambda 1 plus c2 by s minus lambda 2 plus c3 by s minus lambda 3 plus dot 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 cn by s minus lambda n. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
So now in a composite form, we can write ys by us, that is ts, is equal to b0 plus summation of ci's by s minus lambda I, where I is varying from 1 to n. Right? So here lambda i's are the closed loop poles of the system. That means the singular point, and are the ci's are the respective residue. Agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll come to this diagram later on. Let me. Okay. So let's get back to this equation. So ys will be equal to b0 u plus the summation ciu by s minus lambda I. Write it down. Should I repeat?
No, ma'am, it's okay.
Okay, fine. Now let us define our state variables as, write down x1 is equal to u by s minus lambda 1. That is defined as the first state variable. x1 is equal to u by s minus lambda 1. So x2 will be equal to u by s minus lambda 2. x3 will be u by s minus lambda 3, and hence xn, the nth state variable will be u by s minus lambda n. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is x1? x1 is equal to u by s minus lambda 1, right? So now that equation can be written as s into x1 minus lambda 1 into x1 is equal to u. Write it down, these equations and not in the note. Done? S into x1 minus lambda 1 into x1 is equal to u.
Done, ma'am.
So that equation can be written as x1 dot s into x1. That means x1 dot is equal to, after side transposition, the equation will be equal to lambda 1 x1 plus u. Similarly, x2 dot will be lambda 2 into x2 plus u. And lambda n dot will be, sorry, xn dot will be equal to lambda n xn plus u, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that means you see x1 dot, x2 dot, x3 dot, xn dot. That means we have got n number of first order differential equations. That means now we are in a position to write down the state equation, where we have defined the state variables in this form. So the state equation, you see, the state equation, I'll come to the, will be x1 dot is equal to lambda 1 into x1 plus 1 into u. Similarly, x2 dot will be 0 into x1 dot into lambda plus lambda 2 into x2 dot plus u. Clear?
Yeah.
So look at the system matrix A. What is the speciality about the system matrix?
Symmetric.
Symmetric.
Diagonal.
Right, diagonal. Rest of the elements are 0. So symmetry is not of importance here. The matrix, system matrix is diagonal in nature. And what is the advantage of getting this diagonal system matrix? Let's get back to the state equations. So these are my state equation. Here you see x1 dot depends only on x1. In the phase variable case, x1 dot is equal to, was equal to x2, isn't it? Phase variable. So x1 dot is equal to x2, x2 dot is equal to x3. And what about xn dot? Xn dot is equal to xn dot is basically function of x1, x2, xn minus 1, xn, so on and so forth. So we can say that if we use phase variables, then the differential equation, n number of first order differential equation that we get are coupled in nature. Why? Because x1 dot is function of x2, x2 dot is function of x3, xn dot is function of x1, x2, x3, xn, right? So all the n number of first order differential equations are coupled in nature. You get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
So if we want to, actually what is our ultimate objective? Our ultimate objective is to observe how x1 is varying with time. Right? So when we go for transfer function kind of modeling, or even if you don't consider the state variables, if we consider the output variable, then output response is of concern to us. You agree? Actually, we want to find out yt as t tends to infinity, isn't it? For stability analysis, for investigating the performance of the system, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you follow me? Can you follow this point?
Can we repeat the last point?
When we have, suppose we are not considering the internal variables, right? So our concern is the output response, right? So in that case also, we want to find out yt. That means how the output response of the system is varying with time. For judging the, for investigating the stability of the system, how output response is varying with time, that information is required. Similarly, whether the performance of the system is satisfactory or not, right? To find that out, we need to find out YT, how output is varying with time. And if the performance is not satisfactory, then we design controller. Again, we find out how the controlled system is behaving. That means how the output response of the controlled system is varying with time. Have you understood this point? Do you agree? Yes or no? Please respond. Do you agree? Do you agree or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Similarly, if we consider this internal variables, that means if you go for state space modeling technique, then actually we want to find out how x1 is varying with time, how x2 is varying with time, how xn is varying with time, so on and so forth, and whether these variations are acceptable or not. Clear? So that means we'll have to solve these differential equations, because x1 dot is equal to, let me get back to the generic. So if I want to find out x1t, then I'll have to integrate this equation. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, if I want to find out x2t, then I'll have to integrate this equation. If I want to find out xnt, how xn is varying with time, then I'll have to integrate this equation, right? And I guess all of you will agree that if the state equations are coupled in nature, x1 dot is function of x2, x2 dot is function of x3, then to integrate all these equations analytically will be very, very difficult. Yes or no? At times, it will be simply impossible to integrate these equations analytically. Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's why we go for canonical models, where you see we are getting n number of first order differential equations which are completely decoupled in nature. x1 dot is only function of x1, and what is the generic x1 dot is equal to lambda 1 x1 plus u, or dx1 dt is equal to lambda 1 x1 plus u. So if u is constant, then will you be able to integrate this equation analytically? Will it be difficult?
Yes, ma'am.
It will be difficult.
No, ma'am.
So that means if the equations are decoupled in nature, then very easily we can perform analytical integration, right? and hence we can find out the complete time response x1t, x2t, xnt of the system. So that is the advantage of canonical model. And since the equations, n number of equations are completely decoupled in nature, hence as a consequence, the system matrix comes out to be a diagonal one. You see, x1 dot is equal to lambda 1 x1 plus u, right? So that means if the system matrix, in other words, if the system matrix is diagonal in nature, then then the state equations will be decoupled in nature, and very easily we can perform analytical integration, and we can obtain the complete time response of the system. So that is the advantage. So in case of canonical state model, the system matrix will be diagonal in nature. Understood? Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So output equation, very simple. Y is equal to B0U plus Ci into Xi, summation of Ci into Xi, isn't it? Because U by S minus lambda I is our Xi. So Y is equal to B0U plus summation Ci into Xi. So the output equation will be given by Y is equal to C1 x1 plus C2 x2 plus Cn xn plus B0U. So we have obtained a different type of state model where the system matrix comes out to be a diagonal one. Understood? আরে হ্যাঁ না কিছু বলো।
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now we can express the canonical state model with the help of this simple diagram. Here, this is our input U, single input, single output system U. We are using a summer plus plus. So at this point, the signal is x1 dot. It's passing through an integrated block. So here we are getting x1, the first state variable. X1 is being fed back through a block having a gain lambda 1, right? So x1 dot, we know this is the equation, x1 dot is equal to lambda 1 x1 plus u, right? And for output, again we need a summer. The first input to the summer will be C1 into x1, and we can follow this logic, and here we are getting x2 dot being passed through an integrated block. So here we are getting x2 lambda 2 x2 plus u2, and that is the block having again C2. So C2 x2 will be the second input to this summer, and the last input to the output summer will be B0U. So at this point, we are getting the output, which is C1 x1 plus C2 x2 plus Cn xn plus B0u. Right? Now, the canonical state model can have a different form. So this is the state equation. This is the output equation, C1 x1 C2 x2 Cn xn plus B0u. So just let's have a glance. It's observed that for the canonical state model, the system matrix A is a diagonal matrix with the poles of the transfer function, closed loop poles, as its diagonal elements. Lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda n, already we have discussed, these are the closed loop poles of the systems. It is also observed that elements of the column vector B for the canonical state model are all unity, and the elements of the row vector C are the residues of the system poles. Residues of the system poles, that is the output matrix, this is the input matrix, all the elements are 1. Now, we can define the state model. Instead of defining the state model in this way, we can define the state model as x1 dot is x1 is equal to x1 is equal to C1u by s minus lambda 1. We can also define the first state variable as x1 is equal to C1 divided by s minus lambda 1. Okay. So that means the state equations will now become x1 dot is equal to lambda 1 x1 plus ciu. Agree? And in that case, y will be, the output equation y will be simply x1 plus x2 plus xn plus b0u. Do you agree? Bolo, do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
So another variant of the state model will be x1 dot lambda 1 x1 plus c1u. So now the input matrix will have elements which are the residues of the closed loop poles of the system, and the output matrix now will have all 1 elements. We have discussed these 2 points. So the unique decoupled nature of canonical or normal form. Also we use this term normal form, canonical or normal form. Normal form representation is shown, and in first order differential equations are completely independent of each other. So this decoupling feature greatly helps in analysis of the system. Why? Because very easily we can perform integration and we can find out x1t, x2t, x3t. What is the disadvantage? Same as the phase variable. We have defined canonical variables in this form. x1 is equal to either u by x minus lambda 1, s minus lambda 1, right? So it's pretty clear that the canonical variables are also not the physical variables of the system, right? So canonical variables cannot be used for state feedback purpose. So this is the disadvantage. The disadvantage of the canonical form is equally important. The canonical variables, like phase variables, are not real physical variables of the system, hence cannot be measured, cannot be fed back. So what we have discussed today, do you have any question? Any question?
No, ma'am.
Don't leave the session.
Ma'am, will you share this PDF with us?
হ্যাঁ,
Okay.
আমি তো আগের গুলো পাঠিয়ে দিয়েছি, তো পাওনি তোমরা?
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম, পেয়েছি না মানে।
হ্যাঁ, পিডিএফ পাঠিয়ে দেবো। কারেকশনস গুলো করে নিও কিন্তু।
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে।